Imagine a nation alight with an almost impossible dream. Imagine a nation alight with an almost impossible dream. Imagine a nation alight with an almost impossible dream. It is 1958. Across China, millions work day and night, faces aglow from countless small furnaces. They are not just making steel, they are forging a new future. This was the Great Leap Forward, a promise to transform China from a poor, agricultural society into a modern industrial powerhouse, faster than any nation before. Chairman Mao Zedong believed the sheer willpower of the Chinese people could overcome any obstacle. He called on them to surpass Britain and catch up with America. The people responded, filled with revolutionary spirit, ready to sacrifice for a brighter tomorrow. The air buzzed with energy, slogans, and belief that anything was possible if people worked together. But this story is more than a chapter in a history book. It's a lesson about the power and peril of collective ambition. The Great Leap Forward is woven into the fabric of China today, a reminder that even the grandest visions can lead to unintended, sometimes tragic consequences. The ambition was breathtaking, but the risks were immense. It's a story of dreams and discipline, leadership and listening. As we look back, the Great Leap Forward is not a tale of simple villains or heroes. It's a complex human story about the desire for a better life, the power of belief, and the devastating consequences of a dream that flew too close to the sun. Understanding this era is essential to understanding modern China. The lessons of the leap echo far beyond its time. To understand the Great Leap Forward, we must first look back. In 1949, China emerged from decades of war, scarred and impoverished. Mao Zedong and the Communist Party promised stability and unity, and for the first time in a century, China was united under a single government. Early reforms brought land to peasants, improved literacy, and stabilized the economy. These successes built trust between the party and the people, and Mao's vision was embraced with enthusiasm. But Mao grew impatient with slow, Soviet-style development. He believed China could leap ahead by harnessing the revolutionary energy of the masses. His vision blurred the lines between farmer, worker, and soldier. Everyone would contribute to a collective effort. By the late 1950s, Mao felt the initial reforms hadn't gone far enough. He worried the revolutionary spirit was fading, replaced by bureaucracy. Determined to reignite passion, he believed mass mobilization could leap over normal stages of development. From this mix of past success, ideology, and impatience, the Great Leap Forward was born in 1958. The stage was set for a radical new experiment. The consequences would be profound. The foundation of the Great Leap Forward was the creation of the people's communes. Starting in 1958, collective farms merged into massive communes, each containing thousands of households. Private property was abolished. Families gave up land, animals, even cooking pots. Life became communal. Work, meals, and childcare were all shared. The goal, a more efficient, militarized society focused on the collective good. For a time, optimism soared. People believed they were building a utopia, but the system was rigid and regimented, with individual needs sacrificed for the commune. Inexperienced party cadres set unrealistic production targets, driven by political pressure. Communal canteens meant to be efficient led to enormous waste. Granaries were opened, people ate freely, and a false sense of abundance took hold. When harvests failed, the consequences were devastating. The traditional family structure was dismantled, and the experiment quickly ran into trouble. The dream of the commune would soon become a nightmare. At the heart of the Great Leap Forward was an obsession with steel. Mao demanded China double its steel production in a single year. The backyard furnace movement swept the nation. Every commune, school, and neighborhood built small furnaces. Millions abandoned their regular work to melt down metal, sacrificing woks, tools, and even bed frames. The night sky glowed with countless fires, fueled by revolutionary zeal. But the makeshift furnaces produced mostly useless pig iron. Much of it was buried or discarded, and the campaign drained labor from the fields at harvest time. While the nation chased industrial dreams, agriculture was neglected. The steel drive also consumed coal and stripped forests, causing long-term damage. The campaign became a symbol of passion disconnected from reality. Human willpower alone could not replace science or expertise. The cost of this obsession would soon become clear. The Great Leap Forward's ambition extended to nature itself. In 1958, Mao launched the Four Pests campaign, declaring war on rats, flies, mosquitoes, and sparrows. The entire population was mobilized. Children skipped school to hunt sparrows. People banged pots and drums, preventing sparrows from landing until they died of exhaustion. Nests were destroyed, eggs smashed, chicks killed. The campaign seemed a success. Sparrows nearly vanished. But sparrows also ate insects, including locusts. With their predator gone, locusts swarmed, devouring crops on a massive scale. The campaign, meant to protect food supplies, instead helped destroy them. It was a tragic lesson in the dangers of interfering with complex ecosystems. The war on sparrows became a symbol of unintended consequences. Nature's balance, once disrupted, brought disaster. The cost of this miscalculation would be felt for years. By 1959, cracks in the Great Leap Forward were impossible to ignore. Propaganda boasted of record harvests, but the countryside told a different story. The steel campaign wasted resources. The Four Pests campaign upset the ecosystem. Communes struggled. Local officials, fearing punishment, exaggerated grain reports to please superiors. The government, believing its own propaganda, seized more grain and exported it abroad. In reality, little was left for the peasants. A few brave voices like Peng Dehuai dared to criticize the policies. Mao saw criticism as betrayal. Peng was denounced and purged. The message was clear: dissent would not be tolerated. Honest feedback vanished, replaced by forced enthusiasm. The country plunged deeper into disaster, with no one left to speak the truth. The silence would prove deadly. From 1959 to 1962, China was gripped by the deadliest famine in human history. Natural disasters played a role, but the primary cause was man-made. Flawed commune policies, labor diverted to steel, ecological disruption, and excessive grain seizures created a perfect storm. Communal canteens ran out of food. People ate bark, leaves, even dirt. Starvation and disease swept the countryside. The very young and old perished first. Tens of millions died. Modern estimates range from 15 to 45 million. The government denied the famine. Granaries stayed locked, and suffering was hidden. Local officials, trapped in lies, were powerless to help. The central government believed its own propaganda, blind to the catastrophe. The Great Leap Forward, born of hope, delivered a living hell. The silence of the famine was the silence of despair and death. The human cost was unimaginable. The lessons would haunt China for generations. By 1962, the disaster could no longer be hidden. The economy was in ruins, agriculture collapsed, and millions were dead. The Communist Party quietly abandoned the Great Leap Forward. Leaders like Liu Shaoqi and Deng Xiaoping dismantled communes, returned land, and reopened small markets. Food supplies improved, and life slowly returned to normal. Mao's prestige was shattered. His leadership openly questioned for the first time. The party's unity was fractured, and Mao retreated from daily affairs. But Mao saw the retreat as betrayal, believing capitalist roaders were taking over. He began rebuilding his power, setting the stage for the Cultural Revolution. The famine left deep psychological scars and shaped policy for decades, with a new focus on food security. The leap's failure bred skepticism toward radical campaigns. For future leaders, the lesson was clear. Pragmatism and expertise must guide development. The tragedy of the leap would, in time, pave the way for China's economic reforms. The cost of the experiment would never be forgotten. Today, the China of the Great Leap Forward feels like a distant world. Gleaming skylines and economic power have replaced the hunger and chaos of the past. Yet the echoes of that bold, tragic experiment still resonate. The leap is a timeless lesson on the dangers of unchecked ambition and the need for humility. Good intentions are not enough. Pragmatism, criticism and expertise are essential. When leaders silence dissent, they lose touch with reality, and the consequences can be catastrophic. The resilience of the Chinese people is a story of survival and recovery. The memory of famine shaped a drive for stability and prosperity. The leap's failure instilled a deep pragmatism in Chinese society. As we face our own challenges, the story urges us to dream boldly, but with eyes wide open, and a respect for the human cost of getting it wrong. The lessons of the Great Leap Forward belong to all of humanity.